Good morning. Good morning. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you like the Christmas intro to the scoop. My name is Graham Day, and this man in a box, just there-ish, there, is Luke. Morning.
Hello.
Morning, Luke.
Morning. I'm happy to be here in this little box.
I'm disappointed. Oh, that's what she said. I'm disappointed that I've not thought about using my time wisely to make sure that you were placed start again efficiently for the elf on a shelf placement.
Yes.
I think it's all going to be out of. Oh, it's not too bad actually. That's not too bad.
I'll be able to see it in about 10 seconds time.
I'm happy with that. I probably just need to move you down. Oh, hiccups, just a tap.
Oh, the chat on my iPad's now covering it, so I can't see it.
Oh, you need to look up at the screen then now, because now, there we go. It's alright, you'll be able to watch it back on Twitter and YouTube, which is funny enough because this is The Scoop. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and this elf on the shelf is Luke. Let me jump back.
Elf on the shelf.
To the main screen. And hide what we're discussing, even though you've probably just seen it anyway. So this is The Scoop. We bring you the daily dose of gaming news from the industry of games and beyond. We bring you all our thoughts, all our feedback across the biggest stories that are in the games industry right now, right at this moment. And you guys in the chat on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads can get involved. We want you guys, if you're in the chat, to let us know your thoughts about our thoughts, and we'll let you know our thoughts about your thoughts about our thoughts. I think
all the thoughts,
exactly. So please feel free to get involved, and that's important if you that you do that, because we turn this into a video podcast that we upload to YouTube around an hour or so after the show is finished. The people watching on YouTube get the benefits of being on demand. They get to pause and go for a brew, but they don't get to interact in the chat. So only you guys here right now get to do that on Twitch. And then after that, a little bit later on in the day, we upload it to 4 audio podcast services, to iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Google Play. 4 audio jobbies. That's what she said. Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. And you might have seen it already if you've been following us on Twitter. That's Ice Cream Uploads on Twitter. We've kind of give you a teaser of what our first news article of the day is. And usually December at this point in the games industry is a little bit tense. Because everyone knows what the games are. All the games come out 2-3 weeks early, so all the mums and dads can go out and pick up the games and make sure they're in the stockings and wrapped and everything. So nothing happens. However, yesterday we had a couple of bits, and the main one, which you'll have seen because I had it on screen, was new PS4 controller attachment. So yeah, that's probably not shocking. We did share this on the Ice Cream social channels yesterday, well, on Twitter anyway, saying that we will discuss it on today's scoop. So did you see it?
Not a shock, but it is a DualShock.
Oh, and that's why Luke is on the show today, not Bib. Sorry, Bib. That's the level of creativity and punnery that we need. I'm joking. Luke, puns are my domain. Step back. Okay, let's jump into the first article then. No one, I nearly lost our sponsor slide. Sorry, World of Jules, of course.
Oh, no.
But there we go. On screen. Yes, it is. Okay. This is written by Sherif Saed for VG247. Official DualShock 4 attachment adds 2 back paddles. So Sony has just unveiled a strange new add-on for the DualShock 4 controller, simply called the back button attachment. The new add-on bolts onto the DualShock 4's bottom connector. What is it? Well, it's a small unit that adds 2 extra buttons to the back of the controller. More accurately, these are paddles similar to what you see on aftermarket controllers like the ones made by Scuff, not to mention the Xbox Elite controller family of devices. In between the 2 paddles, it's an OLED screen that displays button assignments. You'll be able to map the 2 paddles to any of the controller buttons, including face buttons and triggers. And the thing is also capable of storing up to 3 different profiles with unique configurations. The attachment also has its own 3.5mm connector jack that you can use instead of the controller's original one. The elegantly named back button attachment will be available beginning January 23rd in America for $30 and February 14th for €30 in Europe. And not in the UK, evidently. Clearly.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Exactly. Well, as you were saying before, it probably about £60, £100. This is that our typical exchange rate, right?
£12,000.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is quite cool. I mean, it does look a bit odd. It's quite bulky. Obviously, the technology to have those the audio jack, the storage for 3 different functions, have a working OLED screen, and then have triggers that work with all of the face and trigger buttons on the controller itself. Obviously, there's a lot of technology in such small areas, so no doubt, yeah, it being that kind of bulky size doesn't surprise me. Let's get this off screen. Hi, we're back. So yeah, the size of it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's not the best looking thing. It is quite nice in terms of it's sleek, and the OLED screen does look quite nice.
Yeah.
But I mean,
A bit funky, maybe.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, when you compare it to, obviously they mentioned Scuff and the Xbox Elite controllers in there, and we have a host from Number One Pirate. Thank you very much, Pirate. Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, I think it's kind of hard. I mean, when you've got a DS4, you've had a DS4 established for many years now, since the start of the console generation. We are right at the end of the generation. There is no way that you can realistically, without any previous build-up, go, boom, there we go, new DS4 Mark II or something like that, where they have the triggers and stuff on it. There's no way that they could do that.
Yeah.
So having an attachment like this is the only way they can get that. And I think that that doesn't surprise me that they've rolled it out, because obviously they want to kind of get into that gamer market. The tagline for the PS4 is for the players, but you can't play with all the functions that you can if you're playing with an aftermarket pad or a competitor pad. So it doesn't surprise me that they've added it in. I think the only surprising bit is, like Bibby's just mentioned in the chat, it's so weird that they've done this so close to the end of the lifespan of the console.
Yeah, I think so as well. Which makes you wonder, well, are they just putting this out to test the waters, as it were? Have we seen, I can't remember, have we seen the PlayStation 5 controller yet?
We've seen the patents, so the Wired articles that revealed, like, the how many flops of terror are in the PS5. That's teraflops, by the way, there isn't. All right, guys, calm down. I do know. Chill out, my God, chill out, man. So yeah, they revealed they had SSDs and how many teraflops of things that could be flopped in terrifying ways, and they did they mentioned all of that, and they mentioned the new functions of the DS5 and haptic feedback on the triggers and things like that. So they have mentioned a lot of the technology, and they have kind of showed you loosely that it will look very similar to the DS4. However, just because that image in the patent pending kind of like filing, that just because that's the image in there doesn't necessarily mean that's the image that will actually be released, because the technology is what's patented, not necessarily the look of it. So
True. It reminds me actually of, the touchpaddy thing at the front of the current DualShock controller, and how that was quite a big deal when the PlayStation 4 and kind of launched. But I don't feel like it was overly utilized over the PlayStation 4's lifespan. But that it's kind of used as like a button or 2 buttons, isn't it? You press on the left or the right of it. But the actual touch element of it, I don't think was really utilized very much. This kind of reminds me of almost something similar, but on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. The middle, like, OLED thing. I mean, not sure that's needed. I mean, it's nice that it's got a cool scrolly screen and you can see left and right and whatever. But nobody wants an OLED light screen thing on the back of a pad. I would have just had like a little LED light that goes, this one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're on setting 1, setting 2, setting 3. I mean, the good thing about what they're doing with that is, if you do have 3, because you can say if you want to map the X button to the right stick that you've just added on the back, the right trigger, it will show you with a digital display of this is now X. But if you flip to the second profile, it'll go, this is now L3 or whatever you've set it up as. And yeah, that's nice, but the size for adding that LED screen, like you've just mentioned about the touchpad is just pointless. It doesn't it doesn't really add anything, and I'm fairly sure. Or actually no, they're getting rid of the light bar. I'm not sure if they're getting rid of the touchpad, but even like when me and Bibby have been streaming the Scoop, we both kind of refer to it in the same way. It's a map button. That's all it kind of boils down to. What should we do with that? Let's just have that bring up the map. Okay. Ta-da! I mean, when you first got it, you were like, oh, it could be used as a mouse, and I can, and it's just not the same as using a mouse. Trying to get your thumb up to the middle of the top of the pad so you can. And in the end, like, you're trying to go, okay, I'm going to write my name or enter my email address or whatever you do when you're filling things in, and you'll be like G-R, and then it'll be S. No, not Graham. My name's Graham. Grahs, not S. So then you just start using the stick anyway. So
exactly, yeah. No, I agree.
However, the negativity towards the touchpad in the middle of the DS4 is one thing. I do quite like this, and there's a lot of, from people that are the uninitiated, there is a lot of negativity towards pro controllers and things like custom controllers, or although custom controllers usually are standard ones, but like the Scuff controllers or the Astro C40 controller. And all the ones that have the paddles and stuff on the back, a lot of people are like, well, they're just overpriced and you can't do anything more than you could do with the normal one. But a lot of people don't understand the logic of having the paddles and stuff on the back. We were talking about this in the office yesterday, and I didn't know this until I actually spoke to Jake from Scuff, we worked with in the past, and like, I thought, oh well, they just look like cool controllers, or they feel quite good in hand. It's almost like an Xbox pad that's got PS4 elements. It's kind of a mishmash of all the cool things. And it was only when I sat down and spoke to him, and he kind of explained the differences. Like, imagine, I think the example I gave you yesterday is, imagine you're trying to move sideways with one stick while rotating the camera with the other stick, but you want to move sideways and jump like that. You've got to take your finger off the stick, so you can't rotate your camera then to press the button. Whereas if you've got these two fingers that are just holding the pad at the back, you can hit the X button on that. You can rotate, jump, and move sideways. So strafe, rotate, and jump all at the same time, because you're not committing to it. But then if you have, say, one of your other fingers on the other hand, committed to, I don't know, let's say circle with shoot or something, you could then rotate, strafe, jump and shoot at the same time, all without using it off. Whereas most people can do shooting if you're on the trigger buttons, but then you've got move or function, because most people only play with those like 6 main fingers. Your two, like your middle finger, your index finger, and your thumb. Most people play with those. Your ring and your small pinky finger, whatever you want to call it, little finger. Most people don't use those, but these sticks allow for that. So I imagine a lot of people will see this add-on and go, yeah, it's not for me. I don't need it. But a lot of people don't understand exactly how you use those things, and what the key thing of being able to map different buttons is. And yeah, I didn't. I mean, I do now. I have that now. I only do things like basic things. I'm not at the point where I will ever have the mental capacity to press 4 buttons at once, unless it's just press all the buttons. But yeah,
I guess maybe there's an argument that, well, why didn't they just, or in more generally, not just PlayStation, but why don't controller manufacturers like Xbox and PlayStation make these controllers more like better designed for that kind of stuff in the first place? Like, maybe they should come default with sort of these back triggers or something, and the bit that you hold or something like that. I remember the Nintendo 64 controller had like this back trigger. It's like the Z button, it was called, which actually really liked. It was quite useful. But they could kind of have one of them in each of the handles or something on a DualShock or whatever. A bit like what this is trying to do, essentially. Like they could just do that by default, surely. They don't need an extra add-on, but
maybe that's the case. I think, like, saying that, you probably, I mean, Xbox have with the I always forget the name, so I'm going to run back to the article. The Xbox Elite controllers. So they've just added the Xbox Elite 2. Which is an improved one. So they've taken things like, rather than having the directional buttons being across, they've got that like sort of like ball-shaped thing. Like, almost looks like someone's just imprinted something like that. If you can look at the screen, I've got a dodecahedron shape. It looks like someone's just kind of pushed that into I don't know, a bit of plasticine Play-Doh kind of thing, which has left the imprint, and that's what they use as the D-pad. So they are kind of learning in terms of increasing the functions, and so Xbox have added those triggers to the back realised, actually, do you know what? Things like Scuff, they've worked with esports professionals. A lot of brands go, we're great for esports, energy drinks, and esports socks, which is an actual thing, by the way. I have seen esports socks, genuinely.
Amazing. You got some on right now?
I'm naked from the waist down, actually. I think if I okay. So, yeah. The fact that things like I kind of completely threw my train of thought there. Naked from the waist down. The fact that brands like Scuff are actually going out and doing their research into what will work for esports pros, and I'm going to say esports, I mean things like the Call of Duties, which need like fast reaction times. Obviously, things like CS:GO need faster, but that's usually on PC. Things like the console esports that need cutting-edge reaction times that could benefit from multiple button presses. Things like Scuff are beneficial to those, and it's nice to see Xbox has jumped on that with the Elite controllers. PlayStation hasn't. They have their DS4, and that is their DS4. We don't touch that. We do allow Nacon to do the Revolution controllers, and I'm pretty sure there was a Razer one or something as well. They produced official licensed PS4 controllers that had the esports kind of element. I don't know if any of them actually had triggers or stuff on the back, but the fact that they have now gone, okay, we'll do our stupidly sexy named back button attachment. I mean, this Ron Seal does exactly what it says on the tin. I think the fact that they've added that now, like you said, you don't know why they're kind of not doing that. Maybe that's them going, okay, we are testing the waters. This will give us a hint of what to expect in the PS5, so that we know that back buttons are a thing now. We know that the industry knows, and this is to show you that we know. And maybe it's a case of, okay, we're just testing it. It's only $30 and €30, so therefore 30 quid, because that's how currency conversion works in the world of gaming. So it's 30 quid. And that's all it costs, and you can just get the buttons at the back. 30 quid is not that much in terms of gaming peripherals. Obviously, 30 quid is a chunk of cash, but in terms of gaming peripherals, it's not that much.
Sure, yeah.
And it's Christmas, just after end of the life cycle. You've still got another year left of your PS4. So, yeah, get this. And that potentially, what maybe reading too far into it, that potentially kind of signifies that actually the DS5 might have back buttons, because I may be wrong. I know that Xbox have said that their controllers that will work backwards and forwards, so you can use an Xbox One controller on an Xbox One Series X. So the new device, your existing controllers will work on it. Perfect. That's amazing. It's never been done before. So I'm wondering if Sony, I think that they've confirmed that the DS4s will work forward. I'm not sure on that though. I definitely did see it in writing, but I didn't see their source. So maybe whoever it was, I think it was a tweet or an article that I was reading, prepping for a scoop last week, and whoever it was maybe just got the wrong end of the stick. But if they haven't, and if they are right, and the DS4s will be forward compatible, maybe the DS5s will have back buttons. So the only way that you can be forward compatible is to have back buttons on your DS4s, which then gives you that ability by using this new back button attachment. So maybe what we are seeing is confirmation. I mean, it obviously isn't, but it could be a confirmation that DS5s will have back puddles, back puddles, all of the puddles, back paddles / buttons, not buttons or paddles, but puddles or buttons. So yeah, maybe
you've heard it here first.
Exactly.
Puddles and buttons are the way forward for next gen.
Pirate says, "You look weird, we've got Babinho."
Well, I mean, more handsome is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Boob says, "Trimmed right down, mate." I noticed DualShocks have come down in price. I guess this is why, potentially, because if you think of it, 35, 40 quid. What was it? All PS4 controllers are usually 35 to 40 quid in a lot of stores. So yeah, I think 35 quid is usually kind of where they are. So if they're dropping below that, that's probably them thinking, okay, you're paying the price of another full controller to get a couple of buttons on it. So if the price drops to 25 quid, then I think that kind of is the offset of like, okay, well, it's only 25 quid now for a controller. But if I pay, so 55 quid-ish in total, whereas it used to cost me 35, 40 quid. So people, you might get it in kind of mind at that sort of price range. But then again, they might just go, do you know what, actually, let's just steadfast hold the price at 35 quid, and this back button connector might just sell a bunch more controllers anyway. You never know with retail. Reckon it will tan the battery on it? Good question.
Good point. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm not a good person in terms of judge of how successful the battery is on a DS4. I do have plenty of DS4s. I have two right here. But
they always seem to be dead to me pretty quickly, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, my issue is these two pads that I've just picked up here are sat on a DS4 desk mount, so those two are permanently on charge. And then the ones that I have at my PS4, these ones are just here, like my overflowy ones, or if I bring my PS4 into the studio. Usually I have my PS4 set up in the living room, use it as like a family gaming console. I'll play with Daniel, or Daniel will watch, or whatever. But that controller, I'm sat right in front of my console there, so if I need to charge it, I'll just plug it in when I'm playing, or I'll just leave my PS4 in rest mode for a few hours or whatever, and then unplug it. So I never really pay attention to how long I've got. However, I know a lot of people do. A lot of people will have a PS4 in a cupboard or something like that, out of the way, or they'll be sat playing under the covers in bed, so that having to plug a cable in or whatever then does kind of like get in the way of things. Hopefully it won't take too much, because I reckon, I mean, audio pass-through is just pass-through. That's fine. Neither here nor there. The button presses is on demand. I imagine that won't be too much. It's just whether the OLED screen stays on permanently, and it doesn't look like a HD OLED. It just looks like a little, like almost like an LCD kind of screen, but obviously OLED. So if that only comes on when needed, like when you press it to change to option 2 or setup 3 or whatever they call them, your programmable profiles, if it only comes on when then, I can see it actually being quite light on the battery. But yeah, it just depends on whether it can just be on demand on the button press, or whether it needs to permanently be awake and the pad needs to be permanently looking for it.
True.
If that's the case, then it could start to absolutely battery drain. Yeah. But interesting anyway. Nice little bit of news at the end of the year. Tuesday, 17th of December, 3 o'clock ish in the afternoon in the UK. Getting new attachments announced for PS4 controllers. 7 years into a life cycle. No one would have called that. So yeah. Interesting. Like you say, Luke, it definitely was a little bit of a dual shock. I'm gonna just look ahead. Okay. I need you to pad for us for a second, Luke, while I change the on-screen time.
Well, no problem at all. I mean, I take it, spoilers abound here. That and don't worry, not Star Wars spoilers, by the way, which I'm also watching out for at the moment in these last few days. So none of those, please, in the chat. But yeah, spoilers in terms of the stream. I have a feeling that Pokemon's going to be coming up next.
Oh, that was perfect. Perfect to see what you did there. Timed it perfectly and everything. That's funny enough you say that, because let me just bring our discussing now type. Oh, Pokemon Go buddy update, yeah.
Oh, there we go. It was like I knew it.
As has been mentioned a few times on the scoop previously, I play Pokemon Go still. Although, admittedly, I don't play it anywhere near like I used to do. It's more like one of those. Imagine you're a smoker and you just smoke because you smoke, and you kind of do, and it's that thing. That's kind of that addictive habit. That's kind of Pokemon Go. I get up in the morning, I'll get a stop because you get daily rewards for getting streaks of stops. I will catch a Pokemon because you get daily reward for catching streaks of Pokemons and things like that. That's kind of it. If we go out for a walk somewhere, then I will catch it and I will get new Pokemon. If there's new things added, then yeah, we'll do that. And speaking of new things added, let's bring this up on the screen. This is an article written by Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. He says, Pokemon Go reveals big new buddy adventure update. Tamagotchi 'em all. Done. I'm
um,
I'm not having that one, Tom. You usually hit it out of the park. I'm disappointed there.
yeah, we've seen better from Eurogamer, but anyway.
Pokemon Go has one final big update due before the end of 2019. This time, it's all about making your favourite Pokemon feel as close to you as Ash to a certain Pikachu. Buddy Adventure will let you level up your friendship with your buddy to unlock some seriously useful perks, including a CP boost in combat. Your buddy will also walk, /fly, /roll alongside you on the map. What about crawl or slide? I mean, Onyx doesn't walk or roll or fly, so honestly, it's not really inclusive comments there, but we'll let it slide, Tom. So your buddy will also walk, /fly, /roll, /slide, /whatever alongside you on the map, bring you gifts, and signal that there's something interesting hiding nearby. I'll hit play on the video as I'm reading through the rest of this. You level up your buddy friendship via earning affection. This can be via petting and feeding, taking snapshots, battling with your buddy, or simply walking with them on the map. This sounds like it will affect two things, your Pokemon's mood and buddy level. Interact with your buddy and its mood will increase until it hits its top excited level. At this point, you'll earn candy twice as fast while walking your buddy, and double hearts to boost up your buddy level. Okay, this absolutely isn't sinking in for me. Interact with your buddy. Basically, you have to get your little monster excited. Is that what we say?
I mean, yeah, I couldn't help but laugh a little bit when I heard the excited level, but apparently so.
Okay, let me just read that paragraph again now. It's kind of sinking in a little bit. Interact with your buddy and its mood will increase until it hits top excited level. At this point, you'll earn candy twice as fast while walking your buddy and double hearts to boost up your buddy level. Buddy levels, meanwhile, look similar to in-game friend levels. Good buddy. Your buddy will join you on your map and appear on the new buddy profile page. Great buddy. Your buddy can also appear in Pokemon encounters and bring you items. Ultra buddy. Your buddy will point out interesting places nearby and bring you souvenirs. New items found on the buddy profile page. Best buddy. Your buddy will sport a best buddy ribbon and gain a CP boost in combat while still assigned as your buddy. There's no firm release date yet for Pokemon Go's Buddy Adventure update, but its files are now waiting in the game and ready to go. We'd expect it to be very soon, and Niantic says it will launch by 2020. So if it will launch by 2020, then expect it in the next 12 days because there's only 12-ish days left. So
Exactly, yeah.
I'm going to put my guess at tomorrow. Usually, in the past, things have gone out on a Thursday, so I'm going to say tomorrow it will be added. If not tomorrow, then, I mean, with next week being Christmas, it's kind of harder to say. So if not tomorrow, maybe Monday or Thursday. When is Christmas Day? What day is Christmas Day?
When is it? Wednesday? Yeah, I think it's Wednesday.
I imagine it'll be in before then. They'd kind of want that. So calling it now. Calling now. It's going to be tomorrow. I don't know, actually.
You heard it here first, folks.
It's clear that this has been a big undertaking for Niantic and one which has taken some time. A developer insights blog has pointed to some of the quirks in designing this feature for all of the hundreds of possible Pokemon, taking into account how they move on the map, how they can be fed, so some Pokemon have more than one mouth, for example, and where on each Pokemon's body each should sport their best buddy ribbon. One feature missed from the update is now is the previously detailed multiplayer AR mode where you can pet and feed other people's buddies. This is still in development but due in the new year. So it's easy to, and even for me as someone that still plays Pokemon Go, it's easy to kind of be like, but it's also easy to forget just how massive Pokemon Go was. Like, it took the world. I remember seeing 200 people, probably 2,000 people running like through LA or through New York or something to go catch, I don't know, it was like a Wartortle or something, or a Blastoise or something like that that had popped up. And in this crowd of people, Justin Bieber was there legging it as well to go and catch them as well. I mean, what game makes 2,000 people plus Justin Bieber leg it towards the beach to catch an invisible bit of code that nobody else can see about from you on your phone?
Exactly.
It's huge in terms of the game and the impact that they had. So adding cool little things like this, like on the screen, like they were saying, like trying to get different things to interact in different ways. One thing that I do kind of like that is pretty cool is the 3 phone images there. You've got a Lugia flying in the air. I do like how they've put the effort into making like Lugia's shadow on the floor next to your.
That is quite cool.
So yeah, it's it is pretty cool. Adding little incentives. I mean, the friend stuff that they're talking about. For those of you that probably stopped playing millions of years before friend stuff came in, there are still hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people playing Pokemon Go, but it's not everyone. So most people think, oh, it's dead. Yeah. It's kind of like when you see people go, oh, okay, Apex is dead now, Fortnite's dead now, PUBG's dead now. No, they're all massive. They're just not the mainstream trend anymore. And this game is probably bigger than all of those in terms of concurrent players on a daily basis. Yeah. But when they added the friend update, it give you a reason to interact with people that wasn't there in Pokemon, and then people kind of like you. It was something that you could essentially complete. You can, once you become best buddies with someone, then you've got no benefits for like trying to go on. Yeah, now they're adding that sort of buddy system with Pokemon as well. It gives you another sort of like arc to sort of like level yourself up, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. It seems to give a useful actual gameplay mechanic to it as well, doesn't it? Like, I think we all have in Pokemon Go, like our best Pokemon, don't we, in terms of battling and that side of things. So it would be good to sort of overpower them even more by making them sort of best buddies with extra CP boosts and stuff like that. So just from that point of view as well, it's quite good. It's quite useful.
I think like that is my only annoyance in things like you can get the extra CP boosts. The battling is still a bit naff.
Yeah,
because like Pokemon, it's that RPG turn-taking strategy. That's what it's all about, and Luke knows that
it is.
In more depth than I ever will. He was the first person that started telling me about like hidden stats and IVs and stuff, which actually helped me when it came to Pokemon because I was kind of more aware that this sort of stuff exists. So you do get IVs in Pokemon, but it's literally just 3 stats, whereas in Pokemon like the main games, they've got like tons of stats, haven't they?
Sort of, yeah. Well, they've got you kind of your 6 key ones: HP, special attack, special defense, attack, defense, and speed. And there's like hidden values, like you say, for those. And it is bizarre as well with Pokemon Go. Like right from the offset, when it launched, I thought, why didn't they make it turn-based? Because apart from anything else, obviously when Pokemon Go first launched, it had all those server issues, didn't they? And surely it would take up less strain for them to make it turn-based as well.
Yeah, like think of the packets of data that you're sending every press. Hit. It's like, okay, pack it. Whereas it's kind of like, it should be like, okay, I'm sending my move up, I'm taking your move down kind of thing. You're not transmitting. I mean, each individual person, the amount of data sent will be minimal, but for those like numerous server requests at the same time from 1 million people, which we did see, a bit bizarre. Jump through the comments. Defo 1 for G this. If you don't have Bulby as your buddy, and just look at yourself in the mirror and call yourself a piece of shit. You absolute wet lettuce. 2 things. Even though I only put 1 finger up. 2 things. Charmander, all day, get out. And the second thing is you clearly don't play Pokemon Go, mate, because there are benefits to having buddies in terms of getting candies and things. So if you play Pokemon Go, chances are you won't have Bulbasaur or Charmander as your buddy. You will have whatever Pokemon never spawns, so that when you do walk, you will get an extra candy. So eventually you can level it up. So I've got something like Shield on or whatever as my buddy at the moment. So there you go. Yeah, bam.
Yeah. I've got Eevee because you are constantly needing candies because all of my best Pokemon just seem to be Eevee evolution. So yeah, exactly.
I kind of went OTT on the Eevee community day, so I've got like a bajillion Eevee candies. So, the multiplayer sounds like it can lead to a harassment lawsuit asking around a kid if you can pet their Pikachu. Yeah, be careful. I mean, do you remember when Special Defense didn't exit?
Yeah, this was in the Pokemon Red and Blue days. They just had HP, attack, defense, and then it was just special. The stat was called not special attack or special defense, just special. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that stat kind of still did mean special attack and defense, but it just lumped into one thing, so it's kind of twice as good as all the other stats, or something like that. Anyway, it was a bit imbalanced. So yeah, from Silver and Gold onwards, I think they changed it. Just a nerd stat there for you.
Well, see, that's what I was trying to get at a minute ago. I mean, I didn't know any of that stuff. I knew that there was 3 IVs in Pokemon. It's HP, stamina, and defense. That's kind of it. Obviously, is it HP is the amount of health it's got. Stamina is the amount of I can't remember now.
Well, yeah, stamina isn't in like the main ones. It's just HP is health, and then but then defense as well is kind of confusingly like if you had low HP but high defense, then the amount of HP that you lost when you got attacked would be less.
Yeah,
They kind of almost negate each other a little bit. It's kind of weird, but
I did kind of mess that up. It was actually attack, stamina, and defense. So attack is attack, which means the amount of damage you can deal. Defense, if you have high defense, you take less damage, and then stamina, which is HP, is the amount of health you got. So if you've got high HP and low defense, a move does 20 damage, but you've got 100, so you can take 5 of them. Whereas if you've got high HP and high defense, that 20 damage move only takes 5, so you can take shitloads of them, kind of thing. So I didn't realise all of that stuff was in. I mean, I played through the Pokemon games, but I played through it as someone completely all about collecting. Oh, I heard laughs in the background of the ice cream studio there, Luke. For me, it was all about that collector stuff. I was never a National Dex kind of player, although I got close to it on Red. Or maybe I did finish my Dex. I can't remember. Either way, that was my target: playing through the game and finishing the Dex. And then
I did complete Red and Blue. I don't think I've done any others, but I completed it Red and Blue.
I did complete it, and shout out to Gareth Brook, who was a school friend of mine. He's still a Facebook friend, but he had a link cable, so because of him, I managed to complete. So I did complete the Dex anyway, but that was kind of more my aim rather than the battling and so IVs. I didn't learn of any of that. So sounds like Turbo Rockets is your kind of guy, Luke. Or girl. I mean, generalising there. Don't know who Turbo Rockets is, but good morning. Welcome to the chat.
Good morning.
Anyway, let's move on from Pokemon. As Luke uses his magical stalling skills, so give me a little bit more time to change the title again.
Yeah. So, anything else I can say about Pokemon? Well, I would like to know in the chat for that matter if anyone has played the new one, because I already know I'm getting it for Christmas. So I've not played it yet, but I'm going to be getting Pokemon Sword, and obviously I'm excited to have it as a present, but also I've heard that it's ridiculously easy, so I'm a little bit worried about that, because I enjoy Pokemon games when they're a bit of a challenge, which is rarely, admittedly, but they've been getting easier and easier all the time. So yeah, let me know if you guys are excited to play it, or have, and is it too easy?
Good question. But I will jump not necessarily on the easy bit, but on the bit that you said about getting new games, which is a nice tie into our next topic, which is new games on Stadia. That should have had an exclamation mark in there just for the dramatic effect. But do you know what? I'm going to add it in. You can see social media / content creation on the fly. Boom. There we go. Oh, so magic. And this ties in to our next article, which I will bring up on screen for you guys right now. There we go. This is written by Yin-Poole from Eurogamer. He says, Borderlands 3 and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 hit Google Stadia, as well as Ghost Recon Breakpoint out tomorrow. This was written yesterday, so I imagine all out today. Anyway, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Borderlands 3 are out now on Stadia, Google has announced. Both games are available to buy from the Stadia store at full price, which is stupidly priced, by the way. I don't actually know what their prices are, but judging on Stadia prices for games that already exist, they are stupidly priced. But anyway, although you get a discount on Borderlands 3 if you subscribe to Stadia Pro. So you get discount if you spend more money. Yay! Good job, Google. There's no mention of crossplay or cross-save for Gearbox's looter shooter. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which ships with Stream Connect, launches tomorrow, 18th of December at 5 p.m. UK time. So in about 6 hours, 8 minutes, you can get yourself Ghost Recon on Stadia. Also at full price from the store, and also without mention of crossplay or cross-save. Stream Connect lets you see what your teammates see by streaming multiple views in a single screen. Ghost Recon Breakpoint streams the screens of up to 3 other players at the same time into the view of one player. The idea is you can employ better co-op tactics. Meanwhile, Google announced all Stadia founders get a bonus buddy pass to give to friends or family, which I imagine is designed to boost the Stadia player base after what's been a rough launch.
Okay. It's all just kind of games that we've already played. Well, you know, other people who want to play them have already played on their PlayStation or their Xbox, isn't it? unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, taking from that, I mean, I've just brought the artwork back up. I turned it off whilst we had the Xbox advert Jedi Fallen Order, but now I've just put in a 17-minute advert. Is this even relevant? Oh, this is just a
17-minute advert, Christ.
Not advert video. It's all
Right.
all Stadia in general. Okay, well, let's kill that. I thought I was going to looking at Dragon Ball, Xenoverse 2 and Borderlands, or even Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I mean, Borderlands is obviously a game with a passionate community behind it. Gearbox, there's a lot of love for them. Also a lot of contrasting conversations, but let's just keep it generic. So huge fan base for Borderlands. That hitting Stadia, from Google's perspective, would hopefully drive more numbers in the build up to Christmas. I do think not in a downward spiral or end of days kind of way, but I do think it is a little too late. Not too little too late, but is it a little too late? It's like a week till Christmas. They're adding 2 games that are out already on other formats that are now reduced in the build up to Christmas, most likely, I'm guessing. So once again, you as a parent, you're strolling to a store and you're seeing Borderlands now $29.99 or whatever it is, money off in the build up to Christmas, and you can get it with points or console peripherals or what about a back button attachment? Maybe it's not until January, by the way. Or you can spend 60 quid and get it on Stadia, which is not really proven. You can't really play with anyone else. But if you were a founder, which you might not be if you're still looking at buying things at this point in time, you can get 1 extra Game Pass, but you're not a founder, so you don't have a buddy pass, should I say, so you can't play with any of your friends, and it's just it needs more.
Exactly. It does. And I mentioned for those parents that, are going to their game stores, and the people who work there, they're often helpful and pretty honest in terms of giving advice. I can imagine they all still advise against the Stadia anyway at this stage.
Well,
obviously that doesn't...
you would do if you're a game store. Buy digital and then put me out of a job.
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, thinking about it, do game stores sell Stadia, or do you just get it directly from the Google shop?
I think it's kind of an interesting one because I don't actually know whether they do. Do you know what? I'm going to Google it because in theory they could sell the little cards that will sell your Stadia store credit or whatever.
True. But obviously it's mainly, it isn't a console per se, is it? It's just the Google Cast, which I suppose technically you could get for non-Google Stadia purposes.
I've just searched for literally buy Stadia to see what you come up with. eBay. Oh, we can get a Virgin Experience Day to go to Arsenal's stadium. Yes, nice. No, that's not what I wanted, mate.
Okay. So nowhere apart from people selling it because they don't like it anymore. That's what I'm getting from that.
Do want to bring this up though, just because this, and it's only basic PPC. Full disclosure, it's not anything really to be impressed with, but because I'm a nerd, I am. Just typed in buy Stadia and then had the word game, thinking it just to see if it's on game.co.uk, that will usually bring up the link. However, this advert, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for £1, limited time offer. Nice one, Xbox. So anyone looking for Stadia? No. If that had been the Project xCloud stuff, then that would have been even better. But yeah, the only places I'm seeing it being able to purchase from are store.google.com. So yeah, I think it won't get any sort of support from brick and mortar stores from what I'm seeing there, which
seems so.
You kind of expect, I suppose. But yes, so probably not best to spend too much time on this. It's just nice to kind of keep people up to date. We do have Stadia. We keep mentioning it. We do want it to be good. I'm not going to play Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 or Borderlands 3. And Ghost Recon Breakpoint was not anywhere near what people wanted it to be. What was it like? Metacriticing or criticking even at like 6 out of 10 ish at best, I think.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I'm not sure, but
yeah,
not great.
Yeah, no, I mean more titles good for the catalogue. That's fine. Keep building the catalog, Google. You are ticking away, and maybe they know. Maybe they aren't sat there going, "This is going to sell it all at Christmas." But maybe they're just sat there. Maybe we're thinking they're idiots, and they are going, "Do you know what? There's not we can do. All we need to do is just keep rolling until we get our exclusives with Doom and Bethesda in the start of next year, or when our new titles start hitting, or whatever." So maybe at this point it's just no news is bad news. Any news is good news. So even if we're just getting coverage for Xenoverse 2 and Borderlands 3 being out and it not being enough, it's still coverage, it's still awareness. So maybe that's all.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, out of those three, would they be enough to draw you into Stadia? I mean, are you interested in Stadia at all, Luke? I mean, me and Bibby have kind of said it a million times. Does it interest you whatsoever, or?
I mean, the concept interests me, but I mean, even then, it's kind of for a very specific reason. I mean, this is going a bit into our ice cream HQ environment here, where we're all sat in front of computers, and sometimes we play games at lunch, right? And I've often thought, like, it'd be great if we all just had Stadia, so that we could play on our computer screens rather than going, what TV should we play the game on or whatever. But even then, of course, really every single person would need like some sort of subscription and in Google Cast and stuff. So it isn't really that easy in reality. But that kind of thing, I thought, it'd be quite cool if you could just play anywhere, that basic concept. But beyond that, obviously, in practice, it hasn't worked out that way, and I've got no interest in playing it yet. Is long and short of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it would have been useful yesterday if they had Fortnite on it, and Luke just took the console that I was supposed to be playing Fortnite so on with the rest of the team. But it's fine, whatever. I mean, I could have used it.
Don't know anything about that.
Basically, what happened, guys, was on yesterday's scoop, I said that I joined Bibby on the ice cream team Fortnite foray into the lightsaber experience, and yeah, well, it turns out there was only 3 machines that were up to date, so Luke took mine. Although technically Luke was involved in the foray, I was being the 4th wheel, so it's fine.
Well, at least I got you an umbrella, didn't I?
Yeah, that's the benefit. He was already logged in. He was updating the other console on his account, so he was already logged in on my account. So he played the game as me. I won. I got me the umbrella.
Silver linings.
Yeah. Speaking of silver linings, it's not necessarily what players directly wanted, but as you can see from the discussing now topic on screen, Fallout 76 players are now spawning their own NPCs. And to give you a little bit more information on that, we have a VG247 article written by Sherif, Saed, which I will go through right now. So Fallout 76 players are using the script to spawn in NPCs, once again written by Sherif Saed for VG247. And the article says, Fallout 76 players who can't wait for NPCs to officially arrive are using a cheating suite to create their own. When Fallout 76 Wastelanders expansion launches next year, it'll add the first official human NPCs to the game's barren world. And for those of you that don't know, NPC is non-playable characters, by the way. Saying that human NPCs don't exist in Fallout 76's world is not entirely accurate. Of course, as players discovered one NPC hidden in a dev room. Wube, the human NPC, was found in the same room alongside every other object in the game's world. Clearly, players weren't meant to access that room. That's amazing. Nearly a year later, Wube has found new life thanks to an unofficial set of item spawning scripts. A group called Dupers R Us use these tools to not only set Wube free, but also add NPCs from other games like Fallout 4, as well as create their own. Their functionality is incredibly high. Dupers R Us member the Gemini.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll say Trevor, told Kotaku about NPC AI. They will wander around your camp while idle, and in combat, they will relentlessly chase their opponent, taking cover and retreating when necessary. As they point out, however, these NPCs do not have all the functionalities you'd expect just yet, and for some reason, all spawn with just their underwear. I know that feeling. That's me every morning. Anyway, there are other applications for the same cheats, of course, which others have used to spawn in the Brotherhood of Steel's Pridewen airship from Fallout 4, as well as NPCs from that game like Preston Garvey and Brotherhood of Steel Soldiers. None of this is official, of course, but just like Pridewen, don't be surprised to see a random NPC show up in your game.
Okay. So the long and short of it is there are no humans in Fallout 76, basically, and people have decided to create their own, so that's kind of cool. But I don't understand things like this, like modding and that sort of stuff. How people can do that is sort of beyond my comprehension. But I think it's cool.
It is pretty cool, especially when you think that like the devs have probably thought. I'm just going to bring the Wasteland trailer up while we're on screen, by the way. The devs have thought, okay, we've got scripts for NPCs. We're not quite there yet. Let's just stick him in a box in a room where nobody knows, kind of thing. And then we'll come back to it. But I love the creativity of the gaming community where they do things like that. They go, okay, we need something that we aren't getting from the game, and that is the ability to interact with NPCs. We want the ability to have these people free roaming the planet, so we're gonna release Wooby, put him into the world, and yeah, actually, do you know what? We're gonna take it further. We're gonna reskin him. We're gonna put in all these other things because now we've got this script. We know how to get them into the game, and I love to see how people can build on that. Obviously, it's not perfect. Obviously, there'll be glitches. People will interact in dodgy ways and things. I think the issue from Bethesda's side of things is these guys are showing how easy it is to put NPCs in. But if you had two Woobies strolling around on the world, that's almost in some respects worse than having none from Bethesda's point. So they couldn't really put him into the world. But the fact that these people are showing how easy it is to put him into the world, then people are going, well, why didn't they do that? If Bethesda, if it's that easy, why didn't they do that? But
Exactly, yeah.
But me and you half-arsedly putting someone into a game and it not working will be forgiven because we're not the devs. If Bethesda do it, and they're obviously they've not done it for a reason. It wasn't ready. But if they'd have put it in and it hadn't worked, they'd have been slated for it. We spoke about WWE releasing a game that wasn't ready on the Scoop in the past, and they got ripped for it, rightly so. So it is a shit show in terms of the game shouldn't have been released. If the NPC stuff wasn't ready, then the game wasn't ready. However, we can't do anything with that. The game has been tarnished with that. But if they bring out the Wastelanders update or whatever it's called, Wastelanders expansion, if they bring that out and it fixes that, then fair play. And the fact that these modders are showing that you can bring in massive spaceships and whatever, then hopefully then, Bethesda hit the heights that these guys have.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I suppose the only other more cynical potential angle on it is, well, what if they were waiting to put NPCs into the game in some sort of extra DLC or something they could sell? Probably not. Did Fallout 76 come out technically in beta? Was it one of those kind of games?
No. Came out full launch, everything's good to go, massive media hype around it. And then it was only at launch that people realised, wait a minute, the NPCs aren't there. So they kind of it just came as a huge surprise. Because it should have been the finished game, and if they do try to charge people for that update, they would get slapped. I 100%, I 100% believe they wouldn't, because I was sat in the Bethesda conference at E3, and the tone from the presentation was kind of like, hands up, okay, look guys, we know we fucked up. We are bringing you the Wastelanders expansion this year. And then, sadly, it wasn't ready, so that's been put back to next year. So, I mean, I don't want to beat Bethesda anymore. They shouldn't have released it without it. They had to, for shareholders, investors, whatever. They released it and it shouldn't have been released. About 16, 18 months later, whatever it will be, the full game will be released with that expansion. And at that point, I think we just go, okay, we'll let bygones be bygones. It's water under the bridge. It's all happened now. If the game works perfectly and it's fine, then jobs are good. And just learn from that, Bethesda, when it comes to make out Fallout 77.
Exactly.
There's been a lot of games in this series.
Hasn't there? Yeah, it's crazy. It only feels like a few years ago. So, yeah.
As players, Good morning. He says they've recently added a subscription fee for things in the game. They have Fallout Private Worlds, which is basically paying for your own private server, which which is kind of a nice thing if you think about it. Like, have your own private space where you and friends can jump in and create your own world, and it's like, wow. But it's like, the game's not finished. The game's not ready. You're now asking me to pay for something that is essentially funding you creating the update. Or maybe it's not, but that's kind of what it reads as if you're releasing it at the same time. And not only that, that was flawed massively itself, because the private worlds weren't private. If I'm, like, think of it on PSN. I've got my own PSN account. I've paid for private worlds. I can create my world. I also have Luke, who I just don't like whatsoever on my PSN. Luke can go, oh, I'm friends with Graham, I've got Fallout, I can jump into his world uninvited and fuck shit up. Not only that, okay, we've got Luke, we've established we don't like Luke, that's fine. But I've got... Oh, did you think I was theorizing? Oh, no. But not only that, like, I've got John Smith one on PSN. He's a guy that I had a random duos game with on PUBG, and he sent me a friend request. We both played really well. I've never played with him since. I don't really know him. Don't know where he is. All I know is we did all right. We got a PUBG win. He could just jump in and start fucking shit up, and it's like, it's private worlds. It's literally called Private Worlds. So the update to Private Worlds will allow people to make their worlds private or not. It's up to them. They'll give them the option, which should have been there from the beginning. It kind of is in the name, but yeah. So yeah. But I mean, even if it's not great, I'm sure that the community will manage to fix a way through it. They've done it already with Fallout 76. They fixed the fact that the game has no NPCs. So the Wastelanders expansion, don't even bother with that, Bethesda now. These guys have got your back. They've done it.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got a good community, so it's just as well for them that they do.
Have you played Borderlands, or do you play much Borderlands?
Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout. Sorry, I don't even. Oh no, that was Stadia. I just closed my tabs down. Have you played much Fallout?
Not really. I've played. I've watched it being played a little bit, and I think technically had a go, but I've not really played a Fallout game, and it is something that I think I would enjoy as well. I've played The Outer Worlds, which is apparently very heavily based, heavily influenced on Fallout, and I'm enjoying that. So definitely feel like I would enjoy Fallout games, but no, I've something that's just passed me by a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, same. But anyway, let's move forward. Poor Luke says ads plays in the chat. No, it's fine. It's fine. Luke knows that when I'm being negative to him, it's usually directly at him, not theoretically. He knows it's fine.
Exactly. I know what the score is.
But yes, speaking about games that pass me by, another one. There are many games pass me by, but this one I kind of wanted to play and was going to play, and then just kind of didn't play. And this is Dino Crisis, as you can see from the discussing now tag on the screen. Is Dino Crisis coming back? So a little bit of scene setting. It's the year 2019. Although it'll be 2020 in a few days, so that's probably more reliable. But 20 years ago, 1999, Capcom released Dino Crisis, and obviously it's the year 2019. Capcom have also recently released Resident Evil 4, absolutely smashing it in terms of big budget remakes, like revitalizing. Now we're talking, says Bibby. He's alive, just like a dinosaur. He comes back from the dead in the chat to get chins wagging. So Bibby, surprisingly enough, was the one that put this into the schedule. Anyway, so Capcom just done Resident Evil 2 remake, smashed it. Potential Game of the Year candidate. I think the only reason it wasn't is because they weren't friends with Jeff Keighley, but whatever, swings and roundabouts. No, we're joking. Batter. So Resident Evil 2 is back. HD, like whatever. The remake is class. Everyone liked it. That's played it once again. I didn't play a game. Shocker. But then Resident Evil 3 just announced. Looks phenomenal. Lots of comments, even on the scoop. Bibby even said, okay, next thing they need to do is jump on Dino Crisis, which then ties us neatly into our next article. This is written by Jordan Gerblick on Games Radar, and he says, Dino Crisis gets new trademark filing by Capcom. So Capcom also filed trademarks for Power Stone and Darkstalkers. Well, ignore those ones because that's not as sexy as Dino Crisis. But if a recent trademark filing by Capcom is any indication, it sets a new. It seems a new Dino Crisis game could soon enter development. The veteran developer and publisher filed multiple new trademarks in Japan for IPs including Rockman, Mega Man, Power Stone, and Darkstalkers. The Japanese trademark filings, thanks Bloody Disgusting, that's an article linked in the chat by the way. I didn't just call Luke another one. So the Japanese trademark filings are... Cheers, Bloody Disgusting. Third time, okay. The Japanese trademark filings are anything but confirmation of a new game in any of the aforementioned series, but it's a hopeful sign for Capcom fans and retro survival horror fans in particular. It seems relevant to mention that Capcom's 2019 investor report revealed vague plans to, and this is a quote now, awaken dormant intellectual properties, adding another sliver of hope to gamers, hoping for a revival of the Dino Crisis or Darkstalkers series. Then again, it isn't all uncommon for publishers to file trademarks at seemingly random intervals to protect older IPs from being picked up by other developers. Still, Capcom has seen a lot of positive reinforcement to remake old games. The Resident Evil 2 remake is among Games Radar's 100 best games of the decade, and the newly revealed Resident Evil 3 remake is attracting plenty of praise, so it's not without some considerable context that we speculate on a new game in the Dino Crisis franchise. The original Dino Crisis from 1999 and its sequel are classics of the survival horror genre, although sadly the franchise went dormant after 2003's Dino Crisis 3. With a new decade just around the corner, it's high time we see a return for several of Capcom's long-lost IPs even. So we probably need some feedback from Bib in the chat in this, because we did have a chat before we went live with the Scoop. Neither of us have played Dino Crisis, and the thing is, we spoke about it on the Scoop the other day, and the passion that was mentioned, like in the tone. I mean, to be fair, Bibby gets passionate of Elder Scrolls and anything that he plays, so whatever, you can take it with a pinch. But then that was kind of taken further by Ed Sutton, a friend of Ice Cream Reports, a Twitch streamer. He streamed Dino Crisis the other day, and the fact that we'd spoken about it, and the fact that there was rumours about it, and the fact that G'd him up enough to go out and stream it as well, made me think, oh, do you know what, I should probably look into this. But one thing that I don't have very much of is the ability to look back on things with rose-tinted glasses, particularly if you don't have that nostalgic tie-in from the first time round. Yeah. So me Googling a PS1 game, Dino Crisis, and then seeing it without any kind of like ties to playing it 20 years ago, I'm just thinking, this game just... Like, you look at Horizon Zero Dawns or how good Resident Evil 3 remake looks. See, that's where I am. That's where my head is in with gaming now. Going back to see like dodgy players and polygons. In fact, it's kind of like, let me use a contrast. I will go back and I'll play Metal Gear Solid, which looks just as good as any other game on the PS1 at that sort of time. Solid Snake doesn't have eyes. He has like a dark blur where his eyes should be. So, like, but I forgive that because I experienced that at that point in time when it was like, wow, these graphics are so real. And seeing Dino Crisis now, I watched a bit the other day and it was like a playthrough, and I kept skipping through, and I was like, there's no way I can take this on board. Maybe if I sat down and watched it through, I'd get into it, but just skipping through to try and get a feel of it, the context, I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's again, like the nostalgia sort of market is a big one, but it very much depends, of course, on the people who have already played it before. That sort of older player, dare I say. I mean, sorry, Bibby, but we are older players now. There's no escaping it.
You old man.
But yeah, exactly. Like if you see these kind of games for the first time, they do just look bad, because obviously games have come a long way in 20 years. I have my own sort of games that I'm excited to see remastered and stuff like that, that if anyone else looked at it would just be like, this looks shite. And I know nothing about Dino Crisis, I will admit, so I do need Bibby to tell me in the chat why it's so awesome.
I think he's kind of exactly done that in a very Bibby-esque way. It's Resident Evil, but with dinosaurs.
I can see why he would like that then. Capcom to give them credit here, have done well, haven't they, in this last year or so, with the Resident Evil stuff, and now with this and stuff. They seem like a popular sort of company. They're a cool company at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Capcom have kind of done well to avoid a lot of the negative like links that can come from games brands that have been around for so long. Is that like, is it a Batman phrase? It's like you be the hero for long enough, or you turn into the villain. It's not the exact
Something
phrase,
like that, isn't it?
but you get the point. Yeah. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain or whatever. Anyway, and Capcom have done quite well at avoiding that. But I think one of the reasons for that is they've got things like Monster Hunter, which has gone and created a completely different way of playing, a different game from anything they had before. So they're adding new IPs, and I think it is their most successful or best-selling game of all time, I believe. We did look at the stats the other day.
Like that. Yeah, something to do with like PC as well, wasn't it? It was like one of the biggest games on PC when it launched, which was weird, but yeah.
So they're adding new things, but what they're also doing is they're staying true to their old titles. So the fact that they're adding new Resident Evil games, as Bibby was saying, Resident Evil, I think I get my numbers right, correct me if I'm wrong, Bib. Resident Evil 7 was obviously the VR kind of level 1, but they'd taken the series and brought it back to relevance after a few shit titles. So rather than going, okay, well, we'll continue that, we will bring the nostalgia back for the people that may have lapsed. So if you played Resident Evil 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then you're playing 5 and 6, which are a bit inferior, they sold well, but in terms of the quality of games, people might be going, do you know, I'm just not bothered with it anymore. Okay, let's reinvent things that they are on board with. So let's reinvent Resident Evil 2, let's reinvent Resident Evil 3, give them experiences people can go through again. I keep getting distracted by this, like a Portal video or something playing in this article. Get away! So yeah, they've given people that experience, the ability to play that again in the modern world, the full HD world.
Definitely.
It's the fact that exactly, they're doing new things, but also staying true to the old things. But when I say staying true, they are using games that have been around forever, and not only remaking it, because it's easier to remake a title that someone likes than it is to make a sequel to a title that someone likes. Bring back Turok, says that Ads played. Do you know what? I wasn't going to mention Turok, but I for a long time thought Turok and Dino Crisis were the same thing. But that's because I played neither of. Well, no, I did play Turok. I played Turok quite a bit on the 64, to be fair. So yeah. But yes, I mean, you look at things like seeing. I mean, I know we still get Metal Gear Solid games now, but if we got a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, or even a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake. For me, I think 3's probably easier to remake in the essence that you can go a bit more open worldy, and Metal Gear Solid 1 at the time was pushing the boundaries, but now I think because we expect more from games now, it might be, I mean it might not, it might, but my impression is it might be a little bit, you can see the fact that it's kind of a puzzler, but in a strategy stealth game, so you've got to knock on a wall and go around one way. It's you can do that in indie games and stuff now. So I think what 3 has maybe gives it the potential to be big. Maybe I've not put much thought into that, so that could be a flawed thing.
No, I can see where you're getting at though. There, I think a bit more of a adventure game almost. Metal Gear Solid 3, I suppose, from what I understand. I don't know. Just there's more just by nature of the environment. I mean, there's more opportunities in there to explore Horizon Zero Dawn style if they wanted to go that fast and sort of with the jungle sort of environments and that.
Yeah, you used to have like things like you could there was loads of different animals that you'd be walking around the jungle and there'd be a snake on the floor, and there was loads of different types of snakes. Different snakes you could kill or capture. If you caught it, you could catch it in a cage, or you could kill it and you keep it as meat. And after a while, the meat starts decaying, so it starts to taste less good, and then could start damaging you if you eat it. But you need to eat it to get your health back up, but then it knocks your health back down. So it's kind of adding more of the survival stuff that in games that Bib might kind of play. So that level of stuff. I mean, there was something called a Chinoko as well, which is like some rare Japanese mythical snake and stuff, and you could catch that in the game, which I call on my playthrough. I think it's fine. But like, there was all sorts of stuff that most people didn't even realize was in the game, like customizing your camouflage so that you could run around in a bright red suit, but then it made your camouflage at 13%, whereas if you changed it to like grassy whatever, you're suddenly at 100% camouflage, but then you crawl out of the grass into like a concrete road or whatever, and your camouflage drops down to 43% or whatever. It's stuff like that means that level of stuff, you could, if you put that into a remake for a Metal Gear, would go well. But then you look at, I mean, not just Capcom's Konami has 1,000,001 titles, but then all those publishers have big games, and I think seeing what Resident Evil has done, I wouldn't be surprised to see Capcom bring back Dino Crisis. I wouldn't be surprised to see other brands in the games industry go, do you know what? Okay, we're going to have a go at that now. We've seen what's happened, because we've seen the games industry does like to follow trends in terms of what's proven to work, and Resident Evil's remakes have proven to work. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more brands following the same.
True.
Batman, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I knew what it was, Pirate. You don't need to be disappointed. I just wanted you to get involved in the chat. I thought, I've not had a message from Pirate for a few minutes, so you played right into my
Reeled him in. Yeah.
Would you like to see a new Street Fighter game in the Capcom engine? Says Next Gen Renegade. We've got Binya says, I'm not a Street Fighter guy, mate. No, because that's not PvE, it's PvP, and Bibby's just not very good at that stuff. I'm joking. 5 was okay, 6 was shit, and did some real damage to the franchise. 6 was the one that involved sucking off a giraffe, as I mention every time it brings up. Not with Unit Soul, but the direction it was going. 7 brought us back to the survival horror world and gained critical reception. Do you know what? Just because I've mentioned it a few times now, and I've not shown it, or... Oh, I need to bring this up. I don't know how much I can show in terms of Twitch's terms of service.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to take it as that's fine. I hope, because all I'm doing is sharing a news article from Kotaku. Please don't ban us.
Sounds risky, Graham. What are you doing?
So you'll never look at the Resident Evil 6 logo the same. This is written by Brian Ashcraft back in 2012. So this is the Resident Evil 6 logo. Apologies for all the blowjobs tonight. I've always wanted to write that. Just like Yoshi in the Japanese tea cartoons, here's another subliminal image you cannot see. A pink giraffe getting off in bizarre S&M play with a pink slug. Do you know what I mean? Take it.
Yes, I see it.
Off the screen. There is an image that someone... Do you know what? I'm not going to show the image that someone's... I will put the link in the chat. So if you guys want to see it, you guys can do. I'm not going to do it just in case. Because even though it's not a actual depiction, it's... Yeah, you get the point. I don't want to get banned. But yeah, the Resident Evil 6 logo just looks like someone getting... fun times to a giraffe getting fun times. Let's put it that way. So yeah, every time I mention Resident Evil 6, there's a giraffe getting slugged. So yeah. Anyway, what a way to end the stream. God bless Jill Valentine, says Bibby. I'm confused as to how that relates, or is that off a separate point? Because you calling her a giraffe, mate? Yeah. Anyway, wait. Padding, and killing. There we go. I'll switch things back around. One thing I do want to mention, though, I'm going to put... Oop, lost me on the camera. There we go. I'm going to put Luke back on the shelf.
Put me back on the shelf where I belong.
There we go. His head's fallen off. He's got an extra arm out of nowhere. Oh, my God. Yeah, I've just come back to this one, just because I wanted to show off my nanoleaf stuff. When I go to... when I flip the images so that you're in the studio and I'm in the box... You can see my nanoleaf stuff, and that's cool because when I talk, you can see it changes when I'm talking, and it changes when I'm talking. But yeah, for those of you on audio services, I apologise. I'm not going to give you any context. If you want to know what's just happened, you'll have to check us out on twitch.tv/icecreamuploads or youtube.com/icecreamuploads. But I think that's the end of the show, Luke. I think we've hit.
Yes, I think it is. And you know, we've definitely ended on some interesting topics there with the whole giraffe thing. So that's great. I think we've covered all the main topics there. Thank you very much for having me on the show, Graham. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure indeed. More for you, but yeah, there we go. Pirate says, just realised you was in a nightshade. Yeah, boy. Yeah, that's why you've been sat here all along. Yes. Anyway, that is the end of the scoop for today, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, if you do have anything that you would like featured on the scoop, please feel free to let us know. We are at Ice Cream Uploads across social media. Pirate, type exclamation mark socials in the chat, see if it worked. You did it yesterday, it didn't. See if we got it working today. It should still be logged in. I logged it in yesterday. It should be fine. But yeah, if you want to get involved, please feel free to let us know on social media. Ice Cream Uploads. That's all you need to remember. Just like our Twitch name, it's the same on YouTube, same on Twitter, same on Instagram. Ice Cream Uploads across the board. Check it out.
Easy.
Obviously, feel free to let us know directly. Jeroen is Luke's Twitter name. That's at JEAROON. Jeroen. I am at Graham_Day. Feel free to let us know, and we can. We want to hear your thoughts, what you think, or if you just want us to cover anything else that might pop up in the next 24 hours or so, let us know and we can include it in tomorrow's edition of the Scoop. Anything else you would like to add before we depart for the day, Lucas?
No.
Perfect. Perfect. Good talk. Really appreciate it.
This is the kind of quality content you got me on here.
And as it says, PogChamp was going to do it, but didn't want it to fail again. You did it. It's good. Good man. We haven't logged it back in since we butchered the studio in the Ice Cream Upload studios, but it's fine. It's there. It's logged in now. Always feel free to try it. If it doesn't work, then we should be able to just log it back in. We've just been a bit lax with it, but it's all good. It's all good. Well, anyway, that is it. Josie will be live in around half an hour or so, playing more Death Stranding on the channel. And then we will be back at 10 a.m. with Thursday's edition of the Scoop. Actually, around potentially 10 a.m. If not, just saying it now, it may move until later on in the day because, full disclosure, it's the Ice Cream Uploads Christmas do tomorrow. So we are doing a bunch of things in the day.
Maybe getting drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he's trying to
Absolutely
say.
Absolutely sloshed. And we don't. I mean, you can stream while you drink, but you're not supposed to stream when you're drunk. So So we're just trying to find it. Anyway, we hope to be live at 10 a.m. If not, it will be a little bit later on in the afternoon. But we will keep you updated. Follow us on that Twitter link that Pirates just posted in the chat using the socials ! command. So yeah. Check out Twitter. We will keep you updated whenever we are going live. And that is it for today's Scoop, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. And Josie will be back in half an hour. Until then... What?
Stay frosty.